will say good day to you this day of your time. How are you all? All right. Thank you. Once again, we thank each and every one of you individually and all of you together collectively for the co-creation of this interaction this day of your time. We begin this transmission with the title, Dream World. Where do you go when you dream? What do you do? Now, as we have discussed a few times, there are many types of what you call dreams. Some of them are just what many people think, where you may be reinvestigating, revisiting the things of the day, processing information mentally, emotionally, planning out certain things, coming to certain conclusions while you sleep that might be easier for you to put together when your conscious mind is out of the way, off to the side. However, there are those things you remember as dreams that your physical mind puts together out of available symbols, available props to help you remember something at least akin to or close to an experience you might have had on another realm, on another dimensional level. For many times you will go traveling out of your body, so to speak, in dream time and come back with a story, with a tale, with an adventure, with an experience that your physical mind puts together in some form so that you can remember that something did happen. It may not always be absolutely representative of what you experienced in the other realm. It will at least be symbolically experiential for you to be able to interpret certain ideas that you bring back with you from those adventures in order to apply them in your physical reality, because after all, physical reality is just another type of dream. Before we continue, I remind you that spirit is your natural state and you never ever leave it. You are there right now, all of you, but a portion of your higher consciousness is dreaming that it's no longer in spirit. And that's what physical reality is. A dream that you are not where you are. It's a projection of consciousness to give yourself a focus that you can allow a certain kind of experience to happen within your consciousness so as to discover yourself from a new point of view in a very particular way through process, through physical experience. And it is very valid as a type of dream. But that's what it is, a type of dream. So, the more you allow yourself more awareness, more conscious awareness, more lucidity in the dream state itself, the more lucid you can also become in the physical dream by bringing back the information that you need to allow you to do so. But let's continue with the idea of what goes on in the dream world. Now, this is mostly happening in what most people on your planet refer to as the lower astral realm, a vibrational level of reality, of spirit reality that is still very close to the idea of the frequency of physical reality, and therefore certain kinds of experiences are more likely than others to be had in the dream world. In other words, being that you are still very strongly connected to the concept of physical reality and not actually dying and going farther into the spirit world, so to speak, not fully waking up in spirit, but touching in here and there, you still will generally create certain kinds of experiences in the dream world, in the lower astral realm, that are at least to some degree reminiscent of some of your experiences in general in physical reality. So, for example, you may decide to hang out with your soul family in the dream experience, having fun, exchanging ideas, sharing experiences. But generally speaking, you will attempt to do so in some sort of familiar setting. So in other words, in the dream reality, you may decide with your soul family to create a kind of house or a party environment or something that seems similar to what you might experience in a gathering in physical reality. You will create this out of your consciousness very quickly, because in the dream world, in the lower astral realm, time and space are not what they are, not experienced as they are in physical reality. So there are many things you can do very quickly as you think of them, so they will appear. And in the dream world, you can have many different kinds of experiences in different kinds of environments. As you imagine them, they will appear for you. So if for some reason you feel like you want to fly, you will fly, creating for yourself the idea of levitation from a physical ground level service and going on a flying adventure through the clouds or over the mountaintops. Or you may decide to visit a neighborhood that has been created by many people who might live in the lower astral realm for a while before they continue on to higher spiritual realms. Many people will create very familiar kinds of ideas of houses or other kinds of buildings and trees and valleys and mountains and what have you, and lakes and streams, with the idea of animals and all sorts of other kinds of beings interacting with them in the lower astral realm to express the idea of what it is they wish to experience there. But again, in the lower astral realm, things are not always exactly as they may appear in physical reality. For example, if you visit one of those neighborhoods that might be created by like-minded individuals in the lower astral realm before they continue on to higher spiritual levels, you may find that every single house in that neighborhood will look a certain way. It might be made out of stone. It might be something from what appears to be the past. It might be something from what appears to be the future. You might find that as you step outside one of those dwellings and look toward the idea of a sunset, that the sun might be blue. The sun might be square. You might have 5 moons in the sky. It depends on what everyone has worked out in that neighborhood for what represents the kind of experience they would like to have while they choose to inhabit the lower astral realm to gain other kinds of experiences. So a great many kinds of imaginary experiences can be had there, and very often you will create very specific kinds of adventures with your friends in the lower astral realm for things that cannot necessarily be experienced in your life in your physical reality. You will allow yourself, perhaps, if you have a house that you dream of having in physical reality, create that house in the lower astral realm and get used to living in it and make changes. This is very close to the idea of what we have called the template level reality, where you kind of design your physical experience and things that you wish to experience in physical reality when you wake up in the morning. We use quotes because you're actually going back to sleep when you wake up in physical reality, and you're actually waking up when you go to sleep at night and have a dream. So the idea is that in the template level, you may decide to arrange things in a certain way to have certain experiences in physical reality when you wake up in the morning on that day or some day in the future. But all of that planning takes place in that template level, in the lower astral realm, because again, it's so vibrationally close to the idea of physical reality, and yet very much removed, because you can have certain kinds of experiences there that simply don't match the kinds of experiences you have in physical reality. Now, in that lower astral, there are also many other kinds of beings, including the idea of those beings on a, well, I'll say lower astral realm, really close to physical reality, still in spirit, but really close to physical reality, of those individuals who may not even necessarily know that they have died. So you can run across the idea of what you call ghosts that may be haunting their old house. You can run across many different kinds of beings there that are playing out certain scenarios for themselves in a variety of ways. Many of you actually interact with some of those spirits. Many of you even help participate with their spirit guides in helping to convince them that they've actually died. These are the kinds of adventures you can have there. But as long as you still remain in exploring the theme of physical reality, you will always maintain that vibrational energy connection to the physical world. You will not really go that much farther into the idea of the higher spirit until you actually sever that connection. That's why many times when people are in the dream world, in the lower astral, when they have out-of-body experiences, astral traveling, so to speak, they will describe the idea of your connection to physical reality as a kind of energy cord, what you typically refer to as the silver cord. That's simply an energetic symbol way of representing the idea that you have not yet finished your theme of exploring the physical dream. So there will be a representation that sort of anchors you or ties you still to the physical reality. More often than not, it is interpreted as this kind of silver cord. Although, again, it's a symbol that is interpreted by your mind in order to have some sense of understanding of what it is that is. it's not necessarily experienced that way or seen that way from the higher spirit realm. It's mostly just seen as a vibrational color that you exhibit, that you give off, that is in your so-called energetic aura, that still indicates that you are still exploring a theme in physical reality. And therefore the higher spirits, your spirit guides, so on and so forth, will be able to simply recognize by that spiritual color where it is you're at and how far you're actually going to go in that astral realm on your adventures. But they're very happy to speak with you, very happy to communicate with you on that level. And in that level as well, do some extraterrestrial contacts also occur. Because again, different kinds of extraterrestrials, including us, can alter their vibration in order to experience the idea of the realms near to your physical reality. Being that they are slightly removed from your reality, actually acts as a buffer zone to make it easier to have contact with you and explore certain ideas of what you will experience in your physical reality when you reawaken in it. And so many kinds of contact experiences are actually happening in that dream world, in that lower astral realm. And again, sometimes you may wake up and go, oh, well, I remember interacting with some sort of an odd being in what seems to be some sort of a giant school bus or something. I don't know. That's your mind attempting to make sense from the symbols at hand in your physical world out of what may have actually been an encounter on a spaceship. Because again, the things that are projected from our consciousness into your reality have to take on certain forms that make sense to your physical mind in order for you to be able to actually use the props to construct the memory that you had some sort of an experience. What you call the dream that you remember upon awakening. Now, sometimes it can be a little bit more literal and sometimes it can be a little bit more symbolic or abstract. But the idea of the energy vibration is there, and if it feels like there was a high degree of strangeness or oddness to the idea of the dream, that's usually an indication that the symbol you're remembering in your dream is not necessarily the actual thing you experienced, but some sort of a screen that gives you something to hang on to, something familiar to understand, so you can piece together an understanding of some kind of an adventure, some kind of an experience. Does this make sense? All right. So we would then suggest that when you go to sleep tonight, before you actually fall asleep, ask yourself, speak out loud and ask for assistance from your spirit guides, from other beings in the astral realm, to give you more conscious awareness when you awake in the physical world of exactly what was going on in that dream world, so that you can become more lucid in that reality, realize that that's where you are in the dream. Then you can begin to also allow more lucidity to leak into the dream of physical reality, because there really isn't that much difference between the idea of the dream of physical reality and the dreams you experience in the dream world in the lower astral realm. It's a division that is a very fine frequency difference. It's not as big as you think it is. You just have a certain set of belief systems that make you think that the gap is bigger than it is, that the separation and the difference between the physical world and the dream world is very different, very much more different than it actually is. But it's really a very, very thin, hair-fine difference in frequency. So when you allow yourself to know that the veil is very thin between the two, and that the veil is simply something you're creating with your belief systems, you will begin to experience more and more, shall we say, leakage from the lower astral realm into the physical dream, and vice versa, where you can become more lucid in both and create yet again a third reality in which you can experience the idea of walking in your dream, waking in your dream, and always constantly dreaming in the same way that my civilization does, because we walk through dimensions all the time. It is our natural state at this point in our evolution to always be awake and always be dreaming and always experience through our imagination and connections to our higher minds multidimensional experiences with every step we take. It takes some getting used to, but you'll get there. So, allow yourselves to understand that what we are imparting to you this day in this particular transmission is not only the words that you hear, but the vibration of a higher realm, a higher reality of the astral realm, so as to infuse you with more potential and more probability when you go to sleep tonight to open up to the idea of being more aware of what you're doing in the dream world and bringing that information more clearly back with you through that thin veil into the physical dream, so you can begin to truly wake up in both realities, in both dream states, and start to blend them together into a life that contains far more imagination, far more magic, far more manifestation that is in line with who you truly are and who you prefer to be. Does that make sense? Then, before we continue then with this transmission, we will wish you all pleasant dreams. We thank you for allowing us to share this idea with you, to drop that seed into your consciousness so that it may grow. And in return for the gift you are giving us, I ask, in what way now may we be of service to you? Please begin with your conversations, dialogues, and questions if you wish.
Hey, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for this transmission. It's awesome. Very excited to hear it.
All right, thank you. It is our passion and our pleasure.
So I had a dream maybe a week ago where I was in an airplane.
Yes.
And I landed or went down like on a highway.
Yes.
And next thing I knew, I'm driving with my friend. And I'm like, something's not right here. We were just in an airplane.
Yes. See what I mean? About the strangeness, the oddness? There are different kinds of vehicles that exist in the lower astral realm that are representative of some of the vehicles that sometimes penetrate into your reality that you call UFOs.
Right. Is there anything you can tell me about that dream?
I just did.
Anything else?
Well, you went from a larger craft to a scout craft.
Okay.
You understand?
Yep.
So you were in a larger craft with more people, the airplane, and then you got into a smaller vehicle to go back down to the physical reality path, road that you chose to walk, to drive. So you took a different vehicle to get back into physical reality.
Right.
Many times this will be represented by such a smaller vehicle. Sometimes it will be represented by suddenly having to go down a staircase from where you were. Sometimes it will be represented by having to go down an elevator from where you were. These are various symbols that represent being done with the adventure there and in your mind dropping back down into a lower frequency to go back into the physical dream.
Right. Okay.
Does that help?
That does. And
all right.
Was that a Yael connection?
A little bit. There was more to it than that. But yes, that was involved.
Okay. Anything else that you can tell me about other beings?
Such as?
Well, you said that it's partly Yael. I don't know who.
I did.
Would there be
So
others?
you want to know about the part I didn't tell you about?
Ideally, yes.
I see. And why do you think I didn't tell you about it?
I didn't need to know.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Yes? Anything else?
Yes, one other question. In my house,
Yes.
there is a banging or a clanging noise that seems to happen about once a day.
Yes.
And
From any particular place?
I can't exactly locate it, but I think it's up towards the ceiling.
Someone trying to get your attention?
Yes.
All right. And what happens when you experience that? What kind of a state do you go in?
Well, I pay attention to what it is I'm thinking or saying at that time, and I'm like, ah. Yeah.
And is there some particular consistency with what you're thinking when that happens?
Yeah, it's usually that I feel like I'm on the right track.
So you're using that as your synchronistic symbol to let you know when you're in alignment with your true self?
Yes.
All right. Well, that's coming from your higher mind.
Okay.
Remember, the higher mind communicates in energy, in frequencies of energy. It can and often actually does affect the physical reality dream by creating certain vibrations that will manifest as certain sounds and other physical phenomenology in physical reality.
Okay. Cool.
Your body feeling the communication through the auspices of passion is not the only way that the physical mind has of communicating or reaching into the physical reality. It can get your attention in a number of ways. So, are you paying attention to it?
Yes, absolutely.
So you're acting on your highest passion every moment that you can to the best you can with no insistence on the outcome and remaining in a positive state no matter what happens all the time?
Yes.
All right.
Mainly.
You were just under the wire there in terms of your hesitation.
Yeah, it doesn't happen all the time. It happens most of the time.
All right. Thank you for your honesty. Anything holding you back from it happening all the time?
Well, so I've been exploring that, and what
All
I
right.
recently came to was, I think, the core belief of I'm not worthy.
And why would you still be holding on to that? If you are experiencing your joy and your true self and your true vibration most of the time, what is it about the times you're not doing that that seems so much more real that you would hold back at those times? What's the difference between those times? Where you do feel worthy and so experience your joy, and then in certain circumstances don't feel worthy. What's the difference between those circumstances in your definitions?
Well, it seems like I'm looking inward at those times.
Which times?
The times when I feel like I'm not worthy.
And
The times when I feel like, or when I know I am worthy, my focus is just on the world outside of me.
And so why are you making a difference between the outer and the inner?
I shouldn't.
Well, it's not about should or shouldn't, but why are you? Can it be simply as simple as you believe there is a difference when there actually really isn't?
Yeah, that must be it. I think that I'm still
Yes.
coming to grips with the idea that the external world is actually contained within my consciousness.
All right. Well, but you are open and willing to understand that the outer world isn't real unto itself and is nothing but a projection of your consciousness, yes?
Yeah.
So the more that you wrap your mind around that understanding and that knowledge, do you believe that your sense of unworthiness when you look inward will begin to lighten up?
Yeah, it definitely will.
And if you do, in fact, examine your beliefs and find that you're still holding on to something that says you're not worthy, are you willing to work with that in that moment and stay in that state at that moment and find out what the belief is really saying about you?
For sure.
All right.
That's what I want to
So you
figure
will
out.
keep walking that path then, yes?
Keep walking it, yes.
Yes? All right. So anything else?
No, I think that's going to do it.
Oh, all right. Thank you. Pleasant dreams.
Thank you.